Come Sail Away is a competitive game of meeple placement with a theme in which we will be greeting passengers who are boarding on a giant cruise ship, and there's a certain Belle Epoque feel to it, and so we just could not escape the impression that in truth we were welcoming people on the Titanic. That's what everybody was thinking, and maybe that's true, maybe that's not, maybe this is like Titanic the prequel, because again the passengers are just coming. Now, each player will have a ship such as this one, which is made of 3 cardboard tiles, as you can see there, that form the frame. A central tile that represents the large central staircase, and then these are the square tiles that you place around it in variable order, and as long as players have all the same layout, you're good to go. So you're gonna have a lot of variety there because you can experiment with different layouts, and also you will never be able to use all of the square tiles that the game comes with. And there are some basic tiles such as this one, some advanced tiles such as this one. You can start easy and then again experiment and try with different layouts. Matter of fact, what you see here is the layout that we used the last time that we played last game night, because we just kept playing over and over and over and over again, and maybe there's a little bit of a spoiler about my impressions there. You also have the pier, this container here full of meeples. I like to sort out components, but in this game it really doesn't make sense. Just dump all the meeples together and people will grab them as needed. There we go. We have a deck of cards that also go on this display here, where you will place tiles representing the variable rooms that you're going to use in that game. Here we used 1, 2, 6, 9, and 8, and so I placed those tiles there. Simply put, you're going to try to place meeples on these tiles, filling the tile with meeples according to restrictions. When you complete one, you will flip it to the other side. At the end of the game, you will score the points that are visible. And if you're the first player to complete a certain room, then you also flip that one there to show that in later turns, players will not be able to get the bonus for completing first, which is a token giving you 3 victory points. If multiple players do complete the same room first at the same time in the same round, they all get the bonus there. And so that's for that. And also you see here there's a deck of cards, and they represent the passengers that we will be welcoming onto the Titanic. Yes, we do. Each cards represent 2 to 4 passengers, and each card has 1 passenger carrying a suitcase. That's always and exactly the general idea. You will draw 2 cards at the beginning of the game. Each player has 2 cards. And then we take our main turn simultaneously. So even with a high number of players, and 4 is the highest here, most of the turn is going to be taken quite quickly because people will be acting simultaneously. Now you choose one of the 2 cards. Suppose this one. You take one of the 2 cards, and they recommend, as you're learning the game, if you want, you place the meeples from the pier on the card itself. Later you'll do your little calculations in your head. Let's put it here. I don't know. You can see it better. There you go. Now, I need to place these passengers. They're coming together. They probably want to stay together. So basically, I need to place them in this order, next to each other, onto 4 separate tiles that are orthogonally adjacent to one another. And I need to respect the order, and I don't want the thing to loop on itself, otherwise it gets confusing. And so, for example, suppose that I want to start, I can start either way, doesn't matter once it's there. So I place the red here, the yellow there, this one goes there, and this one goes there. As you can see, they were in a single line. This is twice as large as the other tiles, but it counts as orthogonal, well, adjacent to all the ones that it's orthogonally adjacent to. I could have placed this one somewhere else. Actually, I don't think I could have. I'll talk about the restrictions later. But this would have been a way to do it. Another way to do it could have been, again, looking at the car. Suppose I started with the red here. Then I place the yellow here, green and green, for example. What are some of the restrictions? But I really like the one that I did earlier. So back to us. Red, red, yellow, green, and green. So, what are some of the restrictions? The cabin ones, they need to have a meeple of the same color. So I'm going yellow with yellow. Now, if I place the passenger with a suitcase on a cabin tile, such as this one, I get a bonus, which is I get to advance my suitcase marker on this track, and when I cover an icon, I collect the corresponding bonus. Important things, when I cover one of these symbols representing a tile, I get one of these tiles here, my choice, and I get to place it onto one of these spaces here. There are 4 spaces on the sides of the ship, so we are unlocking new areas of the ship, and that also means now that is adjacent to the spaces that the arrow is pointing to. So that's for the cabin, the suitcase bonus, if you get to place a passenger with the suitcase in the correct cabin. Other things, the central space, the central staircase can host any number of peoples, but only of up to 3 colors, up to 3 types, as you can see from those 3 slots. This is one of the basic tiles. It can take 2 pairs of passengers of 2 different colors. Basically, the idea of different colors is marked quite effectively on the tiles by different patterns. So at the end, I could have that one like that, and maybe another couple, another pair of meeples there. That would work to complete that tile. This one, which is one of the other basic ones, we need 4 different meeples. And then just to give an example of some of the advanced tiles, this one only takes passengers with a suitcase, so there's only 1 per card, and you need to have 3 different ones. Here's the library, because everybody goes on a cruise to spend their day at the library. 4 meeples of the same type, and when you complete it, usually you would discard the meeples when you flip it. Here, you have a bonus, which is when you flip it, you get to relocate one of your meeples that was in the library somewhere else on the ship. Which means, you read those books and now you want to go out and talk to people about it. The bar, you need to fill it from left to right, and you need a meeple of one kind, then another meeple, then 2 meeples of another kind, and then a meeple of the previous kind. It's a very well organized bar, must be, I don't know, that's, you need to fill them exactly in that order, but that's the way it is. And so you're gonna have a lot of different things with different tiles, including the ones that I didn't have time to show you. Your ship will become larger, hopefully, or I guess you're unlocking new areas as this progresses. Some of these may give you extra meeples that come directly from the pier, and those are really important to finesse some of these rooms here that are sometimes otherwise hard to fill up. But what if you can't? What if you can't place a meeple? Then if you cannot legally place a meeple, say for example a room was completed, you can still place meeples into areas that don't really work, so basically to go through them or into them. But then once all is said and done, the meeples that were placed illegally go onto the disgruntled passenger tile, and as you can imagine, at the end of the game there will be a penalty of -1 for each of them. We don't think that the penalty is so huge, especially if it allows you to combine to complete some scoring sequences. Just a little word of advice there. There's also an effect here, twice bonus spaces here that allow you to take disgruntled passengers out of the space and back onto the board as long as you're respecting all other placement restrictions. So this is the idea. You remember you had 2 cards, you chose one, you place the passengers, so hopefully according to rules, maybe unlocking bonuses. The card that you used, you keep it next to your board, and you will use that to keep track of the turns. When you have 12 cards in front of you, you play 12 turns, and that's when the game is over. You play 12 turns. The other card, you pass it to the next player to your left. That means you will receive a card from the player to your right. Then you will draw another card from the central deck. So you will always start your turn with 2 cards. Choose one, place one, and pass the other. This card here, in case you wonder, if I choose it, I only get 2 passengers, which is not super great, but there are no adjacency restrictions. I don't need to place them next to each other, so there's a little more flexibility there. And if I choose this card, for example, I definitely want to place the guy in black there, because there's a suitcase, so I get that bonus. And the lead in yellow can go anywhere I want as long as I respect the restrictions, and maybe I place her there. She could also go to the library. Couple of options here. You play for 12 turns, as we said, and then you score points. You will score all the points that are visible on your ship from the tasks that you completed. You will score 1 point for each meeple that is still on your ship. You will score all of these bonuses here for being the first to complete the special rooms. You will possibly score points that are visible. You will score the rightmost score that you reached with the suitcase bonus on that track. You will lose points for the disgruntled passengers you have on this tile. And when all is said and done, the player with the highest score wins the game. I love this game. I really enjoyed it. Again, as I said, the time that we played it at game night was the first time we played it. I just played with one group and I kept playing it. Then the people I was playing it with started playing something else. What was it? I think it was Spectacular or Star Wars Unlimited. Anyways, another group of friends came and I taught them this game again, which is super quick and simple to teach. Usually in my videos I gave like an overview of the games, but those 10 minutes or so that I spent earlier, that's pretty much the full tutorial. You can also just start playing it. Actually, even better, when I was playing it, I would play my first turn and I explain what I was doing and then the details of the rooms for that specific setup. And you're good to go. It's very simple, very, very easy to pick up. And yet it is really satisfying. It creates a bunch of very interesting puzzles. And of course, the interest escalates because later turns are more complicated, because some of your rooms will be flipped face down, which is what you're supposed to do in order to score them. But maybe after you're able to create a combo, so you'll flip a face down a couple of things only later turns, so you keep the flexibility. I don't do that. I just go for like score the thing as soon as possible. But then maybe you can add some of those rooms, and now there's a way around to extend the conga line of passengers without again getting onto tiles that you already flipped, and so that will give you penalties. But then the penalties are not so tough. You can get some of those meeples back, and ultimately, if I score a 7-point tile for 1 meeple penalty, that's still a good deal. Which really may explain why I found this game so satisfying, because there were puzzles that was really worth taking seriously. I'm trying to optimize my gameplay, try to get the most out of my combos and my synergies. And yet it didn't feel punishing, and yet it didn't feel like, oh my gosh, I really need to make sure, because if I place 1 meeple wrong, there's gonna be a rippling effect. I'm never gonna come back from that mistake. So I felt a satisfying and yet somewhat relaxing puzzle, which really create a nice atmosphere around the table. I love the fact that you can change the setup, and so we tried a bunch of different combinations. You can make it as complicated or as basic as you want, really. The basic setup, you're gonna have your cabins with just play meeples of the same color. And then 2 rooms where you place 2 pairs, and 2 rooms where you place 4 different meeples. As simple as that. So it can be extremely simple, and some of the other advanced rooms are more complex and some more satisfying than others. But again, there's just so much going on that you can do here. Love the components. They look really great. They feel good to the touch. Nice cardboard, nice wooden components. So I like it a lot. I really like it a lot. Multiplayer solo, basically, absolutely no way of interacting with one another, including like, I'm gonna take this car so the next player doesn't. There's no need, no purpose in doing that. The game does come with a solo variant, which I haven't tried because I haven't had any trouble finding people who wanted to play the game. If I was to play it actually pre-solo, probably I would just draw 2 cards, choose one, place it, then discard that one, and draw 2 more, and I would just do that 12 times and see what I score. I think that's a very simple way to kind of simulate what other people can do to you, which is nothing, basically nothing. So if you don't like multiplayer solos, well, that's the limit, but I personally love them, and so and this is a really good one. Come sail away. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed every time I played it, and everybody in my game group enjoyed it too.